Blind runner. Paul Hardy reports on a blind runner, called Simon Wheatcroft, who enjoys taking part in marathon and ultramarathon races, running distances between 42 kilometers and 160 kilometers. For the past 2 years Simon, now 29, has been overcoming his disability to compete in marathons and ultramarathons by training with runners who act as his guides, and also, rather uniquely, by teaching himself to run solo, out on the streets. I got bored exercising indoors, so thought, I'll have a go at running outside, he explains. He began by training on football pitches, behind his house, running between the goalposts. Then he got bored again, and wanted to try running on the roads. Weeks of gradual exploration followed, walking a route alone. That's not to say, the learning curve has been without incident. As a result of this slow experimentation, he was able to memorize a set 5-kilometer course. It took him along little-used pavements, alongside a busy main road. He also recruited technology to help him form his mental map of the area, using a smartphone app to provide feedback through headphones about his pace and distance. This information could then be cross-referenced with his knowledge of the route and any obstacles. Now, having covered hundreds of km alone on the route, Simon has been able, gradually, to phase out the app. When I first started, I had to really concentrate to an unbelievable level to know where my feet were falling. Now, it has become quite automated. That's not to say the learning curve has been without incident. I did make a few mistakes early on, like running into posts. But, you only run into a post once, before you think right. I'm going to remember where that is next time, he laughs. Joining Simon for a training session, it's striking how natural and fluid his movement is. He takes shorter, shallower, more gentle steps than most runners, using his feet to feel his way. His landmarks are minute changes in gradient, and slight variations in the running surface. These provide the familiarity and consistency essential for the blind runner. I have to believe this route is going to stay consistent, and there won't be things like roadwork signs or big rocks, he says. Simon believes the feelings of liberation and independence he gets from running solo far outweigh any anxiety over such dangers. I try to concentrate on the millions of footsteps that go right and think positively, he explains. When it comes to racing, in ultra-distance events, Simon has to use guides to run sections of the course with him. After all, it would be almost impossible to memorize a 150-kilometer stretch of countryside by heart. However, the physical and practical advantages of training in the fresh air, on his own terms, are vast and have boosted his confidence in his running ability, as well as providing inspiration to others. But for Simon, the real thrill and motivation for training come from simply being able to compete on equal terms. It gives him a great opportunity to run with everyone. I can't hide the fact I'm blind, he says, but at the same time, I would rather compete with everybody else and not be put into a special group. Being visually impaired doesn't mean you can't run.